Hi viewers, welcome to yet another episode of Beyond Academics. I am Dr. Elizabeth Varshapon. So today we're going to deal with an interesting topic, how to conduct literature review or how to write a good literature review. Come on, let's have a look. Of a good, you can say a good research study. The researcher, first what you should do, you should identify a good topic, right? Right? So basically, you have to understand whether this topic is practical, that is a pragmatic an approach, whether it goes with the trends just existing in the current market, that is whether it is a new emerging topic or whether it's an existing topic. So for all this understanding, we need something called as the literature review. The review gives the researcher actually to determine whether the project or whether whatever you're writing is useful, that is worthwhile or not, or whether it is interesting or not. And it also helps you to assess your participants and the resources and how will it be of interest to others. So whether you're talking about the current topic or if there's an emerging topic, and how do you make it much more productive, how do you make it much more accessible for participants, for readers to understand and comprehend. So this is just to give you a small idea of how the literature review works. So now, okay, I understand, okay, what a literature review is, but how do I conduct it? How do I do it? This is what we will see in the next coming series. What is the literature review? What does it do? First one, it shares the findings, or you can say results of other studies. Number two, you can relate your study with the ongoing field in the literature. The third one, it gives you a framework for understanding the importance of your study. So why is my study pertinent? Why is my study so useful? So this is why the literature review is important, to understand where your journey is, how you understand well the topic. See, literature review, they take several forms. First one, they try to integrate what others have done and said. What do they do? They criticize the previous works that has been done. They try to bridges or try to build the bridges between the topics, and the main thing, they identify the central issue which is happening in the field. The review in qualitative research is different from quantitative and from mixed methods. By this time, you should be knowing what are qualitative research and quantitative research and mixed methods researches. So if you have a mixed method study, so if you have any doubts, or if you feel that you want me to do any video about it, you can always give me in the comment section. I will be ready to help. So now coming back to the topic, literature review and qualitative research. So what is it? So mostly it's, in qualitative research, it's based on theories, that is based on theory related studies. So here what they do is literature on concepts and critical theories are taken into consideration. And usually what happens at the end of the paper, they generally compare and contrast with your results of the current study. So this is how it works, literature review in qualitative research. In quantitative research, what do they do? Literature, they use at the beginning. It gives you what? Direction to understand to the research question and the hypothesis. And generally, in quantitative research, they introduce a problem which is to the existing literature. Next, the literature just found at the end. What do? They help you to revisit to the direction that you have already done at the beginning. And it helps you to, like you can say, it helps you to understand the relationship between existing studies and the current results. It's qualitative and yes, and quantitative. We have both approaches. And here there are two approaches, sequential approach and concurrent approach. When I say sequential means it starts with qualitative or quantitative base. When I say here, when I say sequential, again, it starts with qualitative or quantitative. Here, when I say concurrent, they decide to weight both qualitative and qualitative data equally. So this in conducting literature review. First one, you identify the keywords. Then you search in journals and books about the topic that you are searching. Okay, now I know all this. Okay, I'm doing all this, I know. What are the computerized databases that you use? Can you give me whatever the databases that you use in the comment section? Start with the first one, which is called as the Web of Science. Almost all researchers must be knowing. Even if you don't know, it's fine. So here it's used for all the major disciplines. So what are the disciplines? Everything. Okay. So here you have the citation mapper here, which is well done. And yes, you have to subscribe to get it, to get the journals and books that if you want to refer to. The second one is Scopus. Scopus is very famous for science. Most of you know social sciences, tech, health, and it gives you a comprehensive citation analysis, which also includes Web of Science. And here again, it is based on subscription model. And sometimes the universities that you're currently in or have access to it, so you can always keep checking on it. Just a general idea, okay? The third one, the most loved, I just love Google Scholar. I feel it gives you a lot of insights. But again, there are few journals or papers that if for example, if I'm referring to where you don't get the full access, where you only get the access to only to abstract, so that you have to keep checking on it. And Google Scholar is always free and open, where you get a lot of details with the referencing styles as well. Analytics, where you have almost all academic disciplines are being involved. And trust me, they have almost 240 million scholarly works. This is also free and open. You can have a look at it. The next one is Senat Scholar. Basically, this is only for humanities, STEM, and social sciences. This is also free, and it's basically AI-driven search. So you can check on it. Key search, like key words that you highlight accordingly you get, and there's a citation context as well. The next one is this is for all academic disciplines, and you get thousands and thousands available. And as usual, it's free and open, so you can check on that. And core, again, it's for all. It's one of the world's largest collection of you get research papers, and it is open. Just explaining to you about the different databases that you can use. So in my priority, like what I have used, like what I felt was good and what was appropriate for my discipline, one was Google Scholar, which I found it to be extremely useful. And then EBSCO is also done wonderful experience. It gives you a lot of insights, lot of journal articles, newspaper articles, and small write-ups about the topic that you're searching. And Procast also is one such where because it's one tool where you get a lot of sample thesis and dissertations that you actually can look at. And another one that I personally used was Press Reader to get the articles from newspapers. And Press Reader has a lot of subscription to magazines. I mean, again, it depends on your institute as well. Our institute had a tie-up we were able to access. So Press Reader is also amazing because you get a lot of newspaper, just not newspaper articles, even magazines like the Economic Times. Then Press Reader had Business Standard, newspapers. I'm talking about Business Standard, Economic Times, Business Line. So I was able to get all the current information that I really needed. So this is just to give you an example of what are the databases that I personally used. So you see, according to your discipline, your domain, which area suits you better. So getting back to the topic, I was explaining the steps. First one, the keywords, the journals and books, and the databases. The fourth one that you really need is at least I don't think 50 would be enough. At least in a day, you should at least read 2 to 3, even if your time doesn't permit. At least three articles are very much needed. In a day, you should read 2 to 3 articles, and it has to be consistent. You have to keep on reading your research topic. Only then your area, what you want to specialize, only then you will get an understanding about your topic, because this section, literature review, is very, very important because it gives you the direction to uh, your ultimate aim, that is research proposal or your thesis. The fifth step is you have to skim your or group your articles or segregate your articles, and you have to get back with your central theme. The next one, you have to design your literature map. You have to design your literature map. Then you have to draft the summaries, which that includes even references. And then you have to assemble your literature review. So you structure it thematically. You structure it thematically, you organize it according to the concepts, and generally you close the last of all these, you summarize it. So this is just to give you an understanding how a research literature review is done. Idea of how I did my literature review. First, I created a table. So table will have your serial number, authors, okay, it can be references also here, papers, okay, the paper name, the title, it may be, abstract, findings, even you can add a section on methodology, and the most important one, what did you understand from the paper? What did you understand from the paper? So this is what you can create a table. And every day, for example, I said no, two articles you read. So you can keep jotting down what this article said, second article said. So after a point, maybe 50, like just for a research proposal, that is much more needed. When you will have a greater understanding of how this literature really works. Now to give you an example, my own example, I told you earlier, I started with industrial economics. So let me say I am taking one industry. Just to give you an example, say construction industry. I wanted to know the health and safety of workers. It is happening in India. Okay. This is a general idea of my topic. Okay. So how do I do this? So getting back to the table, as I said, I'm reading paper one. I'm noting down the authors in the papers. And whatever the author or the paper say, the abstract, I'm writing it down. The findings you will find in the results or the discussion, you can write it down. And the methodology what they've used. For example, let's say the first author has used a quantitative, let's say quantitative and technique, and he has used a SEM, structural equation modeling. Okay. So this is what the paper has entails. Now, what do I understand from the paper? So I understand from the paper that there are five variables like productivity, training, supervision. Then there are other two more. So I understand that productivity is helps in health of the migrant workers. So I kind of say that. So I say that productivity is useful in maintaining the health. It's just an example, okay? And I say training has an important uh, fact in health. And I say this supervision has an important A. And I say that D has an important fact and C. So like this, I can write down what did I understand from the paper. So like this, I'm just giving you a sample number one. Like this, you have to do two, three more papers. And the next one, apart from table, you can also do some brainstorming. You can do a lot of brainstorming. You can draw diagrams like this, graphs like this to give you a better understanding. What are the factors or what variables affect your main dependent? So is by research design by David Creswell and John W. Creswell to give you a very detailed understanding about how to write literature reviews. In detail, if you want, we can do all, as I said, a one-to-one conversation. You can DM me in LinkedIn and we can have a conversation about it. So I hope this video was useful and productive. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you another day with yet another beautiful episode of Beyond Academics. Bye.